Hi everyone, it is Sunday and I've got a few things to share. Well, I'm getting a late start today because, well, you know, real world takes over and I had to do some laundry. And then I was pulling my stuff out of the dryer. I haven't even looked yet, but I'm laundry rich now. It's all crisp and clean. Let's see. That's a 20. $40. $50 because I did my laundry. I feel rich. Don't you love it when you find money in the laundry? Or you put on the coat from last year and you find money in the pocket? Yay. So that's a nice start for the day. So I did a little bit of a little bit of a little bit. And I guess the biggest thing was I needed to get some black fabric. And the closest for me is Walmart. So I was saying in the live Friday night that not only has my Walmart like condensed their yarn down to just, I think it's 12 feet, they no longer sell fabric off the bolt. Everything is pre-cut. Now they've always had a little bit of stuff that was pre-cut, but this is like, there was one section with one shelf that had some bolts probably that they haven't gotten around to. And I am sure that it's to save labor, but you can buy 1 yard, 2 yard, or 3 yard pre-cuts. But what if you need 1.5 yards? Now you're forced to buy 2 yards. But anyways, that's beside the point. The only nice thing about it is you don't have to sit there and wait for someone to cut it for you. So I wanted some black and then some other solids, but they had a bunch of stuff on clearance. I was picking out some stuff, some prints and some solids, and then I spotted all the clearance ones. I'm like, oh no. But the clearance was like $2, $2.50 a yard. Most of the ones that I picked were $2. There were some that I was like, I don't think so. I wish I knew what was in the empty spots, because if they're empty, they were probably good ones. But anyways, so they don't say like what the name of the print is. So like, I don't know the name of these flowers. And I'm not going to pull the strap off because I don't want it to get all messed up. But anyways, I got this black one with these pretty white flowers. They kind of remind me of like orange blossoms or something. So I got that. And then I picked up this purple like calico print, which I think is very pretty. This other flower print. See, that's the nice thing. If I do the book sleeves, then I can use a slightly bigger print that doesn't all have to be small prints. And this purple flowered one. And plus with it folded like this, you don't really get to see like the real visual of the print. And a plaid. This one, I love the colors. This plaid. And some little sunflowers. I'm thinking they're sunflowers. They could be daisies. I don't know. So then I got some solids. Now I already took, actually I took 2 and used already. I'll show you that in a minute. But we got this like cream color, this green, aqua, the black that I went for, this other shade of blue, a solid purple, and a gray. A gray was another reason that I went. Black and gray is what I wanted and ended up getting so much more. Basket's not quite as big as I thought it was going to be. So the clearance fabrics. This one, I love, 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 love the colors in it. And some of these are why I picked out some of the solids that I picked out. This one just kind of looked like fun, tacos and cactus. This one, I've had coffee, so is everyone else? What does it say? I'm so grateful I've had coffee, so is everyone else. It's like you can't really see it, but it's a coffee print, and there's looks like a vintage image of the person drinking coffee. Then this really pretty nautical. They had a Harry Potter. And like a video game. I know I'm not holding this up very much. Now this is a Disney villain, and I only see, I think this is the witch from Snow White, or just says Disney villains, but I only see one on there. I want to say that's the one from Snow White. Not sure. And another fun one with cactus, burritos, chili peppers, lime, tacos. So that's a fun one. And then Stranger Things. And they had a Star Wars. It looks like all stormtroopers. But that gives me some fabric to play with. Let me move it out of the way. Plus I picked up a good pair of scissors, because even the scissors that I have don't even like cut my yarn for me. I think they've been dropped too many times. So I picked up some scissors, some straight pins. Sometimes those Wonder Clips just don't work very well. And cat food and kitty litter. So anyways, so I got to play a little bit. Do I have a successful completion? Not really. But I got to play with zippers, and we all know that's my fear. So this one, this little pouch, I followed Heather Mayhem. Now I made my little thing too big, and it's too close to the zipper, so it's making it the seam kind of show a little bit there. This needs to be much thinner. It's too big. But the way she did the zipper made it a lot easier for me. So I like this, but not with this. And I think I shouldn't have like used a full piece of the interfacing, you know, where it's getting folded over with the fabric, because that's a little stiff. But cute, easy. And if this wasn't next to the zipper, it wouldn't have puckered right there. So I did that, and then I tried another way, and I almost got it, you guys. I almost got it. On this one end, I kind of caught the zipper stop a little bit there, so it's not quite right. But it turned out really good. So look at how nice my zipper looks. And it's functional. And I just used the same fabric on the inside that I did the outside. So this one is definitely doable. So I just need to know one thing. What is a good sized pouch? Can you, like, if you were going to buy yourself a pouch, how big would you want it? And what would you use it for? So like this could hold crochet hooks and, you know, your needles and stuff like that, to have a nice little place to keep your stuff to take to market with you, or if you're just out and about and you're taking your crochet, that would be, I think that's a good size for that. So then I had a subscriber. She asked if I could make her a tote bag. Now, I have not started on it yet because I wanted to, I had to order some more stuff because with all the playing, I kind of used up my supplies. But I wanted to practice on a tote bag. So I made this one. It is very big. And the one that she has requested is bigger than this. But I did great. I did fantastic. I got the box corners. And then I messed up a strap. This strap here is twisted. It should look like that. But I got it twisted somehow. So I could sit there and cut this part off and redo it and reattach. But I think I'm just going to leave it like it is and keep this for myself and use it for a project bag. So, and this was fabric that I had laying around before, so it wasn't, I mean, it's a nice fabric, but it wasn't like I didn't have to go out and spend money to do it. So, one very large tote. And then yesterday, oh, I don't know where I put the other one. I was messing around with the, I'm going to say it wrong, I think. The AirPod or earbud cases that you can just put the little thing in it. And it has a keychain, what have you. Well, my hardware's too big, so I was just testing, like, I want to see the size and the measurements and stuff. So I made one of those, and it's probably out there on the table. But I was like, I want to, like, actually complete something that is not messed up. And I almost got there. I forgot one thing. But this was the other fabric. Kind of reminded me of, like, dragon scales because of the coloring. And then this pretty kind of goldish tan color I thought went real well with that. But this is another book sleeve, and I forgot to put the tab on it for the buttons. So I think that if I stay pretty close to the top, I can just add a snap in it and it will still be usable. I'm pretty sure. If I had a Kindle, I could test it out. I guess I could stick a book in it and see, because technically it's supposed to be a book sleeve and a Kindle cover. But I thought this fabric was pretty cool. Looks better in person than it does on camera. So that's all I did with playing with sewing. I think I'm going to be able to get the zippers. I really do. You guys gave me, in the live, you guys gave me suggestions for some channels to check out. Some of them, I guess not knowing the channel names, I've actually watched before. It's been years, but I have watched them before. So those were nice, like, reminders that, hey, there are some people on here that can help me out. And they actually talk in the tutorial. So, what did we crochet this week? And that's what you're all here for. Now that I've rambled for like 15 minutes. So the first thing I made this week is a pattern from Teresa's Crochet Shop. And it's actually one of her older patterns. And I bought this pattern back in the beginning of my plushie journey, and it was written for acrylic. And the first time I made it, it was huge because I was using Bernat blanket. I hadn't discovered like Parfait Chunky or any of that yet. This time I used the Chenille Brights, and very pleased with how this turned out this time. So I had, at the last market, I had a mom and a little girl come in, and they were looking for an orca. And I had a purple whale that is all from Jade's, you know, the cutesy type whale pattern that, you know, in real life whales don't look like that. And I showed that to her, and I said I can make one in the orca colors like this. And the little girl didn't seem very happy. So then I remembered that I had this pattern. And I was very hesitant to try it again because the first time, you know, it just wasn't that great. But I did so much better this time. I have a lot more experience under my belt, and it went so much better. And it turned out a nice size in the Chenille Brights. Now there is a lot of sewing in this. You sew all the fins on, and you have to sew the belly part on. Technically, you are supposed to crochet pieces and sew them on, but I just didn't like an embroidery stitch for that. I'm done with sewing. And this was one of those things that I worked on it, sat it down, walked away, came back to it, worked on it, sat down, walked away. And this was like the only thing that I got made that day that I was working on this, because I just wasn't into it that day. My mind was everywhere but on making this orca. But if they come back, I have the orca for the little girl. So then I was watching Heather's live Wednesday night, and she was talking about the lobsters. And if you don't know who Heather is, it is Cottontail Crafts by Heather here on YouTube and on Instagram. She's talking about these lobsters she's making, and she made a few of them, took them to work with her for the person that ordered them to pick out which one they wanted. They bought all three, so she had to make some more. So I asked in the live who the designer was, because it's a no-sew pattern, and, you know, no-sew is fast. So I asked who the designer was, and of course, Etsy was having issues at the time. I couldn't find the link and post it for everybody. But I ended up, when Etsy kind of corrected itself, and I bought the pattern, and I did it out of Brights, and I do not like it in Poppy. It looks too orange to me. Although when a lobster is cooked, it kind of is an orangish red. But yeah, I did not like it. I'm like, the tail looks huge. What's wrong? Well, turns out I forgot a leg on each side. So I have to go back and surface, put in the legs here, and it'll probably look better to me. So yeah, this was another one where I started working on it. I got one claw, and that's probably how I messed up. So I got one claw, and then I sat it down and went to bed for the night. So I did that. Well, I finished it the next day, and I decided, let me change shades of red and see if I like it any better. So I had some Bernat, and I want to say it's Bernat Baby. I'm not sure, but it is a red Bernat, that I know for sure. And it's nice and soft. And I think it turned out so much better. One, it has all 5 legs on each side. The tail doesn't look out of proportion now for the amount, you know, with the proper amount of legs. But just the color itself is so much better. I like it so much better. So I don't want to go crazy with making them. They don't take that long because I want to see if they sell first. So we'll, you know, maybe one more. I don't know. Somebody might like that other color. It is a little smaller. But it does need the extra. I got to put the other legs on it. I definitely like this color better. And for red, somewhere here, I have a cranberry. I think that's what it's called. I can't spot it right now. In the brights, it might look better than poppy. So, we have lobsters. And then I went back to Beck Made Studios little Pokemon pattern. I told you last time she sent me a couple to test, and I did the Pikachu, and I was like, oh, I like these, so I went over and bought some. Not even clicking on the other file that she sent me. I just saw the one on the cover, and I was like, eh. And I went over and looked, and I picked out some other ones. Well, it had like 4 in it, and of course, one of them is one that I bought. But that's okay. One duplicate. Plus, it has a Pokeball that is supposed to come out the size. I haven't tried it yet. But it's supposed to come out the size that these little creatures fit in. So I decided, let's see. She gave me Pikachu. I showed you guys this last time. I bought Psyduck, Eevee, and Charmander. And Charmander was one of the ones that was in the other package. So 1, 2, 3. And then I purchased Snorlax. And I don't even know how to pronounce this one. So I purchased those 2. And so there was 2 other ones and the Pokeball and the Charmander in the package. I think. But anyways, this guy, I like him. I've wanted a Snorlax pattern, but they all look so ginormous. I just never bit the bullet and bought a pattern. These are cute. Now I did go back and try and clean up the edges a little bit around the eyes to make it look a little smoother. Just did some top stitching, took a minute to do that, and it makes it look, a lot cleaner. So I liked that. Super easy pattern. Really, really easy pattern to do. And it's cute as can be. And any Pokemon fan will know when they look at this exactly who it's supposed to be. So we did that. And then I made one of these, and of course, I grabbed the wrong size eyes. I had both sizes sitting on my desk, and I reached for the wrong ones and did not realize it. So he's got beady little eyes. But this is another easy one. It's no-sew. You go back and do some shapes on the white part with embroidery, for the decoration on it. So that's cute. And now these 2 were ones that were in what she sent me. This one was the one that was on the cover. Bulbasaur. I think this is supposed to be Bulbasaur. Gosh. I turned the lights out so I can't see all this fluff. This one, you do have to sew this to the back, but it's the only sewing, and it stands up just fine. So, these are so cute. Did this one. And so I did, I'll show them all to you in a minute. And this one is supposed to be Squirtle. Now this one, you make the tail separate, you make the shell separate. The tail gets crocheted into the round, but this gets sewn on and then you tack the tail up to the shell. But he turned out cute. And I'm wondering if I should have used the bright yellow instead of this lighter yellow. I don't know, something about the yellow on the turtles just, I mean, see the difference in the shades of yellow? Like, I like this one. So I did those. So now I have, oh, I'm filling up my basket here. Now I have 2 Pikachus, 2 Snorlax, 1 Charmander, 1 Eevee, 1 Psyduck, 1 Egg Dude, 1 Squirtle, and 1 Bulbasaur. So 2, 4, 6, 8. So I have 10 of those. And I think I'm going to try, I don't know if I'll be successful, to at least get 1 more of each of the ones that I don't have 2 of. And of course, a proper size Psyduck that I don't forget around in his head. So that I have at least 2 of each of the ones that I have. But these are, like I said, Rebecca from Beck Made Studio on Etsy. They're just adorable. Absolutely adorable. Okay. So, I just have a couple of more things. So, I was looking through my patterns, and I have like 5 of them opened. And it's like, which ones do I want to make? Now, I really, really, really want to do Stitch. I've been wanting to do Stitch for the longest time, but the felt eyes and the shape have held me back because I don't have a die cut for that. But I was watching some of Tracy's videos, Tracy from Travel Crochet, and she does a stitch pattern that you don't have to do that with. You don't have to use felt eyes. It's crocheted in, the lighter color, and then she uses, I want to say 30 millimeter eyes in it. So I'm going to go check out that pattern because I really, really, really want to make a stitch. And I've been wanting to for the longest time. So I need to check that out. But looking through my patterns, before my debit card got compromised, I was a member of Madeline Mako's Patreon group, and I downloaded a bunch of the free patterns that she offered in there. I mean, for $8 a month, and she does give you decent patterns each month for free, plus you get coupon codes for her Etsy and all that. So I was looking through the free ones that I haven't made yet, and she actually had a Scrump doll. She also has a Stitch, and I can't do them because the eye thing. But she has a Scrump. So, and it's supposed to be a baby Scrump. And for some reason, I'm thinking it's going to be like this big. It's not that big. So this is her version of Scrump. Now, I did get my eyes a little close together. I dropped one of them and was like in a rush to get it stuck down, and it needs to be 1 more stitch apart. But that's okay. There are only a couple of things that I would do different with this pattern to make it easier. She has you crochet the hair separate and then sew it on. And then the way she did the bow, you would see the bow in the front, but you would see the hair in the back. And I kind of liked the way Crochet Grove did it with, this Scrump. So I like this one. But this one is so much more market friendly. But to get this pattern, you have to be a Patreon member with Madeline Mako. But what I would do different is surface crochet these on like Crochet Grove does, and then of course do the bow the same way. And this one doesn't have a belly button. I think I could probably make a little belly button and put on there, but does it really need one? I mean, that belly is not that big. But it was really quick, because other than this up here, it was all no-sew. And with it being so much smaller and faster to make, you can do a much more reasonable price on it and hopefully sell some, because there will be a major price difference between the two. So we have that. And then the last thing that I was able to make this past week, and I was working on these last night. And these are ones that I sold out of. I think I sold the last one at the last market. It might have been 2 markets before. I don't know. I don't remember. Because what do I keep doing? I keep making new stuff. Because, well, if I'm going to be going to the same market, like a repeat vendor, I have to have a few new things to make it look all fresh. But I'm not going back and making the things that I'm selling out of. But not everything do I want to remake. But there are certain things like the mini birds I'll remake. The chicks and eggs I'll remake, which I need to make some. The snakes, which I have plenty of. There are certain things that would be like staple items, and then got to mix up everything else. But anyways, I sold out of these, so I decided it's time. I need to make some. They're quick and easy, and they go well. So we did some rubber duckies. I did 3 yellow. That polyfill, when you sew or surface crochet, boy, that polyfill just pokes right through. Okay, so 3 yellow. He's got a big head. And then I did 1 blue. And then I was like, okay, it is, oh my goodness. Did 1 in blue. And then I was like, okay, it is time for bed. But I think I'm going to do pink. And maybe a mint green. But like only one of the colored ones. And then I should be okay on the little ducks for a while. But that is what I have been up to this week. Seems like a lot. But it really wasn't. It was more, I messed this up. Now I'm bummed. Now I'm irritated. And then I'll go back to it later. Just, it's been an interesting few days, that's for sure. So I don't have market till Friday. So I have a little bit of time. I just have to decide what it is I'm going to do. There's a couple of things I definitely want to do for the crochet. And in doing it every 2 weeks, I don't want to run into a problem where, yes, I have a lot of inventory now, but if I sell an average of 40 each time I go, and I'm only able to make 20 in between, then pretty soon the scale's going to tip in the other direction. So we got to stay on top of the crochet. Right now the sewing is just play, but there are certain things that I want to add to the booth with the sewing. Certain faster, easier things. And then that gives me some adult items. I don't know. Anyhow, that is what I have. And we'll see you in the next video.